Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Last week I was browsing the Gear VR store and stumbled across TERM1NAL, a game where you remote control androids to pull off a high-tech heist, and I just had to take a closer look. TERM1NAL was released on May 17th, 2017 and is currently available on the Oculus Store for $7.99. It's developed by Forcefield, a large studio based in the Netherlands that develops games and business applications for both VR and AR platforms. In TERM1NAL, you're Flynn Lightman, a hacker that specializes in commandeering robots and infiltrating corporate security. You're contacted by a mysterious client, offered a massive sum of money for an equally mysterious job, and you get right to work. I won't spoil the story for you, but I will mention that it gets pretty interesting in the last half of the game, despite a somewhat of a slow start. Gameplay-wise, I have to say this. TERM1NAL reminded me a lot of the old Metal Gear Solid game on the original PlayStation. In each of the 12 missions, your goal is to navigate a series of rooms to reach the exit. You'll have to sneak past armed guard robots, turrets, and flying security drones, both on your own and with the help of a robotic canine called Rexy that can distract or disable security. Each room has several doors that must be unlocked to move on, and that's where the second half of the gameplay lies. In any given room, you'll have to trip switches that range from simple buttons, to precisely unplugging wires, to tracing paths of light, and more. All the puzzle solving is done from a first-person perspective, allowing you to look around the environment and keep track of the security robots and bug out if danger gets too close. This mechanic is actually pretty cool when you're forced to use it, but for the most part you'll be able to time things well enough that you can just focus on the puzzle in front of you. The gameplay is very well tuned, challenging but not frustrating. Very few of the rooms are trivial, and it's pretty easy to get caught if you lose focus. Luckily, the game is quite forgiving with restarting in that the doors you unlock remain unlocked when you respawn, and respawning happens in about 1 or 2 seconds. The developer states there's 2 hours of gameplay, but I'd say there's closer to double that. It feels like one of the longer campaigns on the Gear VR, which is both good and bad. It means more bang for your buck, but the game can feel a bit tedious at times. TERM1NAL supports both gamepad and motion controls. With the motion controller, you're using the touchpad as a joystick to control your android, while the pointer is used to direct your robopooch. This works fine, except when you need to approach a terminal and click the touchpad to activate something. I found myself precisely and quietly approaching a button, only to turn around and start walking away when I tried to click it. This is likely due to the fact that there is little to no dead zone in the touchpad, which was instead used to provide an analog-style functionality to let you both walk and run. You get used to it eventually, but it's quite frustrating when you find yourself moving away from a terminal you need to activate while security bots are bearing down on you. The gamepad controls are just as solid, but don't suffer from this clicking imprecision. The analog stick is used to move, while buttons and triggers handle activation, and positioning Rexy is accomplished by looking. Given the nature of this game, I actually recommend using the gamepad over the motion controller. I find it to be more precise and reliable, though ultimately both will work. The graphics of TERM1NAL are detailed and polished. All models appear to have fairly high polygon counts and are smoothly animated with no noticeable glitches or stutter. The robot's cone of vision is displayed in red on the floor, clearly marking out what you need to avoid. The world is made up of meeting rooms, offices, warehouse, and assembly lines, and they're all well textured and convincing, but they all share a similar color scheme, and by the later levels you're wishing for a change of scenery. Navigation of the rooms takes place from a view of a security camera, which switches automatically to another security camera when you move out of view. And as mentioned before, the hacking sections are done from a first-person perspective, while security robots continue to move around the room. Subtle yet suspenseful music accompanies the gameplay in TERM1NAL, reminiscent of the soundtrack to Tron Legacy and perfectly suited to the game's high-tech setting. The story is conveyed entirely through expertly voice-acted dialogue between your character, the client, and the target, and there is a lot of it. As great as it is, sometimes it goes on a bit too long, and there's no way to skip it on subsequent playthroughs. I found no issues with comfort in TERM1NAL, and I don't expect anybody else to either. The camera remains fixed in third-person or first-person mode, so the possibility for motion sickness is eliminated. As enjoyable as the gameplay is, it's not the most immersive experience on the Gear VR. Most of the time you're watching your character from the third-person perspective of a security camera, which is something that could have just as easily been accomplished in a PC or console game. The hacking sections do switch to first-person perspective, and while it is occasionally useful to look around while solving a puzzle, most of the time you'll just keep looking forward, again something that could have been done on a flat screen. The game looks and plays great, it just doesn't take full advantage of the VR platform. So on one hand you have a well-crafted, challenging stealth game for the Gear VR, with a campaign length worthy of the asking price, and I definitely found it enjoyable from beginning to end. On the other hand, the game doesn't leverage the VR platform nearly as much as other games available, which in my mind takes it out of the running for being a must-have title. It looks good in VR, it's just not very immersive, and I know a lot of other people will be asking the same question: why is this game on the Gear VR? If you're looking for challenging stealth action, Terminal will satisfy you. But think about how immersive an experience you want before dropping cash on this one. Thanks for watching! Got something to say about this video, an opinion of the game itself, or VR in general? Leave a comment to let me know what you think. And if you like what you saw, and you want to see more of this, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Remember, there's a new video every week, and be sure to check out my other reviews as well. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.